Hello and welcome back to another Tripping on Trinity. I have got the beautiful Saralise with me and also the incredible BT, both of whom you have met previously. But I'm basically going to hand over to Saralise today, I think. I'm going to hand over and just let her kick off. We are going to be talking about the return to Eden today, which is something that is really exciting me. And my journey, because it makes so much sense to me. But what I would like to do, Sarah, is just maybe hand over to yourself to just give a little bit of background, because you were the one that actually wanted to have this discussion this time, weren't you? So I'm going to literally throw you under the bus, mate, and just hand over to you, and then
All right.
Step in. It's good to see you, my love.
Yes, you too. Love you so much. Love both of you so much. Thanks for inviting me to be here today. Okay, so returning to Eden. So in the last few weeks, we have been working diligently on the matrix and all the levels of that, and working with removing any sort of black box programming that may be on the collective and those types of things. So we've managed to remove the black box off the divine masculine, which was a big piece that we weren't able to see before, and brought all the masculine dragon hearts back to themselves, right? Like we returned all those energies that were trapped within that matrix situation. And then we also did some other work, which I'm like, do I don't know. You know what I mean? I'll just say something major happened. And I just went for it. So I just went for it, and let's just say the sky is falling. That's all I'm going to say. The sky is falling. That's my little code phrase for the sky is falling. It's no more Chicken Little. It's actually happening. It's actually happening.
Just so anyone who doesn't know Saralise, it's very weird that she's being coy. Normally she's straight out there like a bullet. So the fact that she's being a bit coy, I'm like, oh, I'm really interested in this.
I'm not that serious, am I?
No, you're just straight down the line, and you just say things very much like me, babe. That's why we resonate.
Right, but I feel like in this moment there's still more to do. So if for me to reveal is just not a good idea.
Yeah, no, that's
so. So I'm just saying the sky is falling, and I'm happy about it. Personally, I'm happy about the sky falling, but it's, the way the sky is falling is the key. So the Eden, the sacred land, is coming back online, and the real clouds are in the sky. I'm giving you clues and hints here. Like the real clouds are in the sky. There's no veil. It's going away. It's so good. And so a big part of this too is our true history. So our true history being what happened in the last 100 years, as opposed to what it was like before. So there's a piece of history that actually was a pivotal moment in history that people actually don't know about. And so it doesn't make sense why we are here where we are now. So that's where I want to kind of bring that in. So there's something called the mud flood, okay? And it started with the Carrington event, which was a solar flash in 1859. And during that time on the Earth, they were building buildings and creating beautiful, magnificent buildings. And it was being done by the giants who ruled the world at that time, okay? So the giants ruled the world, and I don't know if they were necessarily totally benevolent, but there were benevolent aspects, mostly. However, then you had the JP Morgans and the Rockefellers, and they didn't like it too much that the giants were ruling and everything was grandiose and beautiful and amazing, and that they didn't have the power of all the levels, right? So they decided to go to battle with the giants. And the giants, then the Fae clan came and backed up the giants, and a battle ensued. And what ended up happening is during the solar event, and the mud flood, what happened is there was some kind of a sound or a radar frequency. They did something to set off a frequency that then melted the earth, like cymatics. So what it did is it melted the earth, and the earth sort of took over the land. And you know how you see buildings with the windows that are like the basement windows, and they're just little windows, and there's a whole floor, and you see like an archway, and that's because those were floors.
Wow.
So the world, literally, the earth melted because of this frequency.
Wow.
And it went everywhere, all over the planet. And so all these beautiful places, and it wiped tons of the population out, including the giants and the dragons. And basically that event and the fight itself was to wipe out the magic on the planet. They very specifically wanted to cancel culture, the magic.
Can I just say something on that? Because I saw something today which really resonated with me. It really struck a chord with me. Why do people remember that witches were bad when they should have been remembering the people that burnt the witches were the ones that were not the right people?
Correct. Why are they Why are they making the witches bad, as opposed to the people that were burning them and killing them? Yeah. Why are they not the bad guys?
Yeah, exactly.
Very good question.
And
good question.
That's exactly what we're living through right now, right?
Because the reversal spell. Exactly. We have been living through the reversal spell.
Did you just see that massive orb? Sorry, I had to point out there's a massive orb just floating here.
Saralise. You keep calling me Sarah. I don't know why, but my name is Saralise. Sorry,
I said there's an orb flying here. Yeah. I
didn't see it.
Yeah, no, it was beautiful. I just said I had to.
2 times you called me Sarah, and I'm like, oh my God, I have to correct her, Saralise. Okay, so I'm sorry that I missed that. I must have been looking down something. But there's another piece that I want to share, which is the Fae kingdom, the Fae kingdom rose up to defend the giants. They rose up in battle against let's say the Illuminati. Okay. And what ended up happening is, during that battle, it was not a good battle. And they weren't able to succeed with defending the magic of the planet. And so they opened a timeline, and they jumped through to another, like a sideline over here, and got trapped, and have been waiting over 100 years to come back into this timeline. Wow. So what's interesting, though, is that the Fae started jumping into the bodies of the humans and sleeping with the women so that the magic would not be lost.
Right.
Freaking brilliant, right? So then all of a sudden now we have Fae in the bloodlines. We have the magic in the bloodlines now that was, trying to be removed. I mean, it's already there, but they amplified it by sleeping with the women and making sure that they could get as much into the bloodlines as possible. So that all happened 100 years ago. So the 9 billion people that we're seeing on the planet right now are actually from the last 100 years. They're not from prior. This is a whole new population that we're looking at. Just take that in for a second. So in that process, the orphan trains, so there were what we called the orphan trains. And so basically all the children that survived, we were rounded up and then programmed and ritually abused to become our population now. So this is wild to think about. Maybe not in the indigenous populations, I don't know, but I do know that this happened with the predominant amount of the societal children that were present. And there was mass genocide 100 years ago, 120, 150 years ago. And it's nowhere to be seen in history. They're covering it up. It's clear as a bell that they're covering it up. And that we had a very different planet back then in the 1800s. Like, and you can see it if you look at the buildings. You can see the actual physical evidence of these buildings. It's like, who built these ornate buildings back in the 18, you know, who built these huge places that are like for giants, you know? And so it's really important to understand that by wiping out the giants, they didn't end the dragons. It made it very difficult for the magic to ensue. And so what we're seeing are mountains and melted earth that are actual buildings and people and dragons. And it's the fascia, literally the fascia of the giants and of the dragons that we are seeing as rock that's overlaid on top of the original earth. So it's mind-blowing to think about, but this is how much I've gotten so far. And it's not from research. It's literally from going in and doing the work and being able to see in session what's going on and being able to navigate that and deal with that through souls, through people. This is just through people. So all that matrix overlay actually happened at the beginning of the 20th century. So that's when that false overlay came into existence. They were trying before that, but they weren't able to create the illusion prior to that. So that gave them the opportunity to be able to take over in a way that they weren't able to before. Because the magic coexisted with the darkness, right? The light magic. And so, but the light magic had sort of a strength that they couldn't do anything about. So they had to figure out how to get rid of the magic and just wipe it out so that they could use their dark magic to then overlay the population and program them in a very specific way through history and through our history books and education and universities and every single way throughout the entire fabric of existence to create this illusion of what we have now, which are square buildings, square boxes, lockdown grids, you know, streets, like, you know, the streets that were built before, they're all curvy and windy. Like you can see it in the landscape. You can see the evidence of magic throughout the landscape. So right now we are returning to Eden, Eden being the original Eden from way, way, way back, the original planet, and the magic that was there. And so that's what I refer to as Eden, is the planet itself, Gaia, which is a higher octave of Earth, obviously. It's another dimensional octave, but it's all coming back together again in one big, you know, rounded experience, right? And so we're at a new level of frequency that's never been here before. That's the cosmic light that's getting deposited onto the planet has never been here before. And BT and I traveled to Peru together, and we had some massive experiences while we were down there around this. And, you know, the apex, our universe being the apex of a triangulation of universes, and the cosmic energy being deposited into Lake Titicaca, and we facilitated that. Yeah. So it's like, there are so many layers to this, and there's so many people working on so many levels, but the source frequency that is being administered right now has to be navigated in some ways, because otherwise it might dissipate and we won't be able to utilize that energy for the expansion of humanity and the earth, right? So it's like we're all focusing in our own little ways on doing our part to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. So I'm going to stop there because that was a lot. That was a download, and just going to stop right there. And now I feel like you guys are like, huh, what? Okay, wait, grokking what I just said. And I know you're bursting. So go for it. Whoever wants to talk now. I just wanted to get that out because that's, you know, what's happening.
We have to let
at the top of the world. We have to be at the top of the world for this to happen, and that's what's happening. So that's good, you know.
We have to let her flow when she's on flow, BT, don't we? We know what we have to do. So from my perspective, it makes total sense. It makes total sense, everything that you've just spoken through. And there's a lot of similarities as to what is happening today. When you said about mass genocide, that's what's happening today. You know, with the
100%.
With the program that's going on with the thing that goes in the vein.
Yes, the jab.
Yeah. So it seems very synchronized to where we are today. But BT, I want to hand over to you, my friend, because everybody loves to hear from you. Everybody loves your energy. So I'm going to hand over to you and hear your perspective on what Saralise has just shared.
When you look at what she just shared, a lot of people are going to just like go, whoa, this is like way a lot of information, okay? And the reason why they do that is because even though they've been given all the little crumbs that Saralise, you and others have given them, they haven't been able to actually pull it all together into one unit, okay? Because again, through their fears, their chaos, their sadness, their resentment, their ego, the chaos that surrounds them, they can't look at it within themselves. And so what happens is, as this world goes through this change of what we just kind of experienced, okay, all of us in some way, shape, or form have, we have two areas of collectiveness that we're dealing with. And the collectiveness of consciousness is one, the individual consciousness is the other. But unless the acceptance and the ability to really release and not take what we've learned of the bad with us as we move forward to this new beginning, this new Eden, so to speak. And so when you look at it from a human growth standpoint, and not a human growth hormone, okay, just so you guys know.
Thanks for clarifying.
Just through human growth, okay, as far as your own individual of self, you know, recognizing gratitude for one, taking the time to be truly overwhelmed with joy. Think of that. When was the last time you were just truly overwhelmed with your own personal joy? Okay, to have
just
that,
right now.
You know, yeah, exactly. To have that area and see, and what governs that, a lot of people don't recognize it. It isn't the physical collectiveness of consciousness or the spiritual consciousness. It's the ability to allow our mind through diversity to utilize what we refer as the divine energy within our mind, the most feminine, purest heart, love energy that exists. And it's the energy that guides us to the truth within ourselves. And so through that, we are creating this future, which I believe Saralise is communicating about right now. Because again, you know, we all have our different, you know, elevations of understanding. And so, you know, as we move into this future of creation, you know, truly, what is the end game? And that's going to be a hard point, because a lot of people right now, you know, you look at all the spiritual beings, and the people that are stepping into new perspectives within their journey or have been in some way, shape, or form doing the same thing systematically throughout this whole journey. And then once this gets fixed, and we all know it's going to get fixed, right, gals? Right?
Yep.
Once this gets fixed, what's going to happen to those individuals? How are they going to be able to readjust? And I think that's one thing that we're forgetting, not just within the collectiveness, but the teachers, because they've been teaching for so long. And then all of a sudden to have it to come to reality, which is their goal, but at the same time to allow themselves to move forward without, you know, changing their own personal identity, so to speak, you know, to have a purpose still. And I think that's where we look at when we see each other, and, you know, moments in life, and, you know, where we're going to move to. So remember that. And so that's kind of what
we can support those, you know, individuals who so part of the reason why we need these healing centers and these places that are 3D to 5D, if you will, there are going to be healing centers with all different types of energy healing and all different types of psychological support, and like all the things that people need to be able to navigate the new world, if you will, and to navigate the real reality of life, because all they know is programming. And then there's people, you know, in the spiritual community that talk about the non-NPCs, the non-players or whatever, the people that are not playing the game. When I look at that, I feel this like separation, which I don't agree with. I feel like everybody's a player or they wouldn't be here. So for me, you know, it's like each and every individual is going to need support, from a baby to a 100-year-old person. It's not like anybody is going to be excluded from that. Every single human being, which is 9 billion plus, is going to need to adjust to this frequency, or they will not be able to survive it. And this is a key piece here, because a lot of people don't want to hear this part, that there will be a large number of people that leave the planet.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And it's not, so there's the fear porn and all of those levels, you know, that are coming, but there is a whole generation of older people that are dying off anyway. So they're going to naturally die off, but somehow they're going to try to use that to freak people out, scare them. And like, it happens every year, you know, people die all the time. It's not any different than it has been. However, now they're attempting to influence the population numbers, right? And to scare people into submission. That's what they're doing. And that's not going to work. Not on my watch.
The thing is it's actually a really interesting point that you say, because about a year ago, I spoke outwardly on a Facebook Live and said, millions are going to die, and I got bombarded for it, quite rightly so, because
right,
you know, perhaps I shouldn't have been quite as harsh at that period of time.
Yeah, but you know, people need to grok that. They really need to grok that.
There is going to be a mass amount of people that are going to check out. You know, they are going to make, their soul is going to make the decision that they're done here, and we have to respect them, whether we like it or not, whether our human ego likes it or not. We have to respect their choice. And it's really interesting that you bring this up, because just today I heard about a man who committed suicide, leaving a wife and 2 young daughters, because he literally, his business has gone bust in the UK. He's like struggling with his payments on his house, and he could not see a way out, so he killed himself. That's the other side of it. There's going to be a lot of that taking place as well, because people cannot take the pressure. And there is, to the point of what you were just saying a minute ago, there is this division even in the spiritual community. Some people are saying the Great Reset is a good thing, some people are saying it's a bad thing. Like, do you get what I mean? There's this huge division that's taking place, and really fundamentally we need to be coming together as a community, loving on each other, supporting each other, and getting through this, because there is so much hurt on this planet right now, which is taking people out, which is making people want to check out, you know. And for me personally, I'm like,
and it's all good. It's all part of the plan.
Exactly. I mean, from my perspective, I want as many people to come with us as possible, because, you know, I'm here for humanity. However, we've got to, you know, I don't know if you guys heard in America, but over here there was a gentleman called Captain Tom. He was 100. He made like a load of money for our NHS system over here, and he died.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. So he apparently took the vaccine, maybe not, who knows? And he passed. But the fundamental truth of the matter is, the guy was 100. Like, he was 100. And there's people going, oh my gosh, this virus is so deadly. And I'm like, old age is still a thing. We haven't just looked out old age. And I feel that this fear mongering, I love the way that you put it, is fear porn, you know?
Yeah.
The way that people are living in this fear constantly, they're addicted to it. But they don't recognize that they are. So they're literally going out hunting for it every single day.
They're programmed for it.
Yes. That's exactly it. Yeah.
So then I want to speak to calling everyone into action. So I feel like it's pertinent and important that you, as a person, as a soul embodying on this planet at this time, really check in with yourself as to where you are at personally, and ask yourself, what am I doing in relation to this? Like, how am I contributing to the eventual magnificence of the next phase? So focusing our attention on what's coming rather than what's happening, not ignore what's happening, being fully present to what is happening, but focusing on what your role is going to be, what your part is going to be in moving forward. Hello, Condor. Or is that an eagle? I can't tell. It was a flash.
It's just loving condors. Just loving
All right.
condors.
Yeah. So Condor came into the field. Hello, Condor. So did I tell you guys about my condor experience in my office? I think I did.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay. Just tangent for a moment. So I received the condor in my office in a box, and it had been cloaked. It got lost in the mail. It was like all this stuff happened. It was actually mailed because I had it in Peru, right? And then anyway, long story short, I finally got it to my office, to right here. And it clung to me for dear life, which was so incredible to feel the consciousness of the condor in my space and to just be with it. So I sat down with the box, didn't even open it yet. And it was like, zoop, and I went, oh my God. And it occurred to me that in this office was the eagle. So the condor and the eagle came together in my office, and the timelines merged and went zoop, and came together again. And I was like, holy shit, what just happened? So I went upstairs to the deck. I was like, I got to get some fresh air. Oh my God, I got to breathe. Whoo, okay, that was big. So I went upstairs, and like, that was like pure magic, so much bigger than me. Like, whoa, right? I go upstairs. It was a clear day up until that moment. I went upstairs and counted 46 ships in the sky. Boom, 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 boom. Lined up across the sky. Cloud ships, just like in a perfect line. All the way across, like parked and like, hi.
Beautiful.
And I was like, okay, that just happened.
That was a thing.
That was a thing. So then in January of this year, I took a road trip for a month, and I circled clockwise around the United States, and I did some work, winter solstice in Eden, and then, Asheville, and then I traveled across to New Mexico, and then BT and I had a little conversation, and I took care of some things. And then I kept going. And then I got back to Portland, and I had my raven wings and my owl wings. So then all of a sudden I have raven, owl, hawk, eagle, condor, and swan in this office. So then it was like a whole nother level of like, I'm like, all right, we're good. I like, what other feather do I need? Let me see. You know what I mean? It was like, all of a sudden I had the crew in my office all together in the same place,
Nice energy.
Yeah. Amazing energy. What did you say?
I said, I didn't think all that was going to come out with just bringing in the condor.
Right. Well, Condor wanted to speak. So
I wanted to hear your story. Wanted to hear that.
Right. She wanted to be addressed and acknowledged. So that's why I was like, okay. So yeah. So now we are present to that energy. Beautiful. And I do believe that the bird tribes are a huge part of what's happening right now. and that they are facilitating some major movement energetically through the matrix and through the energetic field, right?
Yeah.
And that they are protectors and guides. And so if you have an affinity towards a bird of any kind, really pay attention to that and look up their totem medicine and really start to embrace whatever that totem is, and really look at it in relation to your life and where you are right now. That's a really amazing way to drop in to the spiritual realms in a way that you can communicate with nature, right? And you don't have to see one flying, but like, okay. The other day when things happened, a raven, now there are no ravens really in this neighborhood, every once in a while, but they don't really show up unless there's a reason, right? A raven, while I was doing this, while this thing was happening, I had my back turned, right? I was over here doing my thing, and I felt the presence. I turned around and there was a raven right here, had flown in and parked itself to protect me while I was doing what I was doing. And it was literally right in front of me. And my whole body was like,
nice.
The raven was working with me in the city, in Cell Block 25, District 12, right there.
You probably don't want to give your address out, mate.
Yeah.
I have
how many Cell Block 25 District 12s are there? A lot. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm not giving out my address. But anyway, you get the point. That's my local city life block address. So I want to hear about your children thing that you were talking about. Maybe if you want to share some of that. I couldn't hear you. So.
It's kind of relevant to what you were saying about like where are you and what are you contributing to the mission? Because that's essentially what we're here doing, right? You're contributing to a lot of the stuff on the grid right now, and you're doing so much more with humans as well. BT's doing his amazing thing over there. And I guess the thing that's been coming up, as a lot of people know, is I have this mama bear energy where the children are concerned. And it's what I was saying to BT before I got on here today is that I literally got the go ahead on Thursday that it was go time. So everything that I've been building behind the scenes, and I've been kind of keeping quiet, not for any reason other than the fact that timing hasn't been right. People have not been at a point ready to receive and take action because so basically what it is I've created a non-profit organization that is going to fund the rescue, the healing centers, and the rehabilitation of children. Okay. Beautiful. It might be that they're damaged from vaccinations. It might be that they've been trafficked. It could be that they've been mind controlled. Like, it doesn't matter what. It's a case of we rescue, we bring them into the healing centers, and we rehabilitate them. And that's always been my plan, because I don't know about in America, but there's a lot of people out there raising the awareness. There's lots of protests, there's lots of stuff taking place, people sharing videos. For me, after last summer, when I was doing all of the protests myself, when it got to October, my guide said, shush, close your voice down. That's why I then got banned off of Facebook in November. And again, I got told, rest your voice for a couple of months, which clearly I didn't do because I went and used it in other ways. But with regards to the children, I kind of went a bit stealth. And literally I got the go ahead the other day, literally Thursday of this week just gone. And the project is called Little Beams Project. So basically, yeah, I know, it's beautiful.
I'm wondering.
You wait till you see the logo. I'll send it to both of you. You wait till you see the logo.
Yes, please.
It's like, it's just, oh my gosh. But it's about action. It's not like, I don't want to watch another video. Like, with all due respect, I don't want to see another video. I don't want to listen to another interview. Let's get some like funds together.
Action.
Let's create some abundance so that we can create these things, so we can actually start helping. Because for me now, we've been stuck in that old world for so long. It's time to just up and go. So that's basically what I've been doing. And I'm not even kidding you. I set the group up on Telegram yesterday, and I'm just going to give you the latest numbers. Now, all I've done is post this on my Instagram group. Let me just check the group for anybody watching
Instagram group or Telegram?
No, babe, it's on Telegram.
You
So
said Instagram group.
literally, I set it up yesterday. It's 991 members already. 991. It's been live less than 24 hours. This mission is going to spread.
Yeah, it's going. Yeah. What is the name of the Telegram group?
Literally Little Beams, BEAMS, and then family. That's the group where people can chat. Little Beams family, and it's on Telegram.
Is there a channel also?
Babe, I'll send it to you after. Yeah, there is a channel. It's just Little Beams, so without the family. But I can send you the links afterwards if you'd like to
invite us. Yeah,
and it's global.
I have like 240,000 notifications on Telegram right now.
Telegram goes off right now, doesn't it? It's
just goes off.
It's just.
I'm like, how am I supposed to freaking? Oh my god, not even gonna.
I'm actually going to have a clear out of a load of groups because I'm like, my physical vessel can't cope with it.
I know. Yeah, me too. That's why I kind of now avoid it a little bit. But I'm like, you know what? I just need to tune it up a little bit there and just.
And then when you go in
it down a notch and focus.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm doing. I'm really taking action. And literally just before this call today, I was on the phone with somebody who's basically said to me, you know, I've got 250 grand to give you. And I was like, oh my God, that's a great start. I had literally on Thursday when my guides told me it was time to go, I had a lady reach out and offer me $500,000. Within about 3 seconds of me getting the message, it was there. And I was like, whoa, this is 5D manifestation now. Like literally I'm thinking, because you guys have known all the way through. I mean, Saralise, you've obviously known me a lot longer. This is in my cells. This isn't just something that I've plucked out of the air in the last couple of years. Like this is in my cells. I've known this is what I'm here to do. And obviously the time is right because now it's just boom, 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 boom. You know, so it's just incredible. It's incredible, which is why, to your point earlier of like, where are you? People need to be establishing that right now. And you know, BT.
Figure out where they want to plug in their energy at.
Absolutely.
Right. Because we need to rise up. But not rise up in protest. We need to rise up and own and be responsible for our energy.
Yeah.
Well,
and how we are putting it out there and utilizing it in relation to the new world specifically.
Yeah.
What BT?
That's just even like now, like some of the clients that I'm working with here in the Naples region. I mean, we're talking, you know, elderly people that are coming to a point where they're understanding this karma shift. And they're like, hey, we need to take care of my personal karma that I left because I don't want my kids to deal with this.
Good.
And it's been, and so, you know, dealing with the children, dealing with the elderly, dealing with all these different, you know, energies is such an important movement right now for all of us to heal. And so, we're all doing our thing. It just, it shifts on us. We always maintain our passion, but we still have this movement.
I love it. It's almost like we're a full circle between just even between the three of us doing our individual work. We're a full circle, right?
Yeah. So how I'm actually contributing in that way too. So elderly and then children, and then I'm actually preparing the administrators.
Yeah.
That's actually what I've been doing. I've been preparing the administrators specifically for their purpose, for their divine missions, and getting them to like lock into their missions, like helping them remove whatever's in the way of, you know, their mission and getting them into the space where they are able to own their mission.
Yeah.
So they're clearing out all the stuff that doesn't serve them, and then realigning and soul retrieval and whatever needs to happen to get them all here so that they can be fully grounded in their mission here. And so I've been working specifically for years with the administrators and with the people that are then going to be orchestrating a lot of this, like you and me and BT, right? Like it is literally the administrators that I've been contributing to in that way. Right. And my own personal, you know, whatever I'm doing, which is a whole nother level. you know, so
it's just it's so beautiful to hear, you know, because you guys are at opposite ends of America. I'm thrown all the way over
right.
in the UK, and I don't question
We're triangulating right now.
exactly. And how powerful is that? You know, it's almost
It's
like
so
we've got this
cool.
thread of light between us, and we're just lifting up that grid, which is what the world needs right now. You know, and
Absolutely.
I just hope that anybody listening to this gets a little bit of hope to, you know, don't even overthink it right now. What do you love? Like, keep it simple. What do you
Yeah.
love? What makes you really happy?
What brings you joy?
Yeah, exactly what BT was saying earlier. Like, what really sets your soul on fire? Because that is what you need to be doing right now. If it's getting out in nature, go do that. If it's going in the sea, if you're in England, you are crazy. But all the same, maybe that floats your boat. You know,
It's a little cold right now.
it's freezing right now, especially when you're on day
Yeah.
7 of a fast, mate. Oh, it's
Oh
so
goodness.
so cold. But if you know, if you like getting in that icy cold ocean, like, go do more of that. Do whatever
Yeah.
sets your soul on fire, because the gold is at the end of the rainbow, which is there.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
there's nothing more complicated than that. Like, we're overcomplicating life because that's the matrix we've been living in.
Right. Well, that's the reversal spell and the programming breaking down too.
Yeah.
If we can allow ourselves to release the programming that has been our life and to allow ourselves to be with nature and receive those original thought forms from spirit, from source, from our own consciousness in our bodies, and let them land and integrate, then we're going to be in a better place and more grounded to then take action in the future. So it's like, it's about us allowing ourselves to slow down. Even like this whole past year has been about slowing down.
They've given
and at the same time, it's sped up. The energies, the natural energies are speeding up. The other energies are slowing down. And then we're coming now into this other energy. And there's the grasping of holding on to the old. And it's like, you just got to go.
Let it go, man.
You got to let it go. It's time to let it go and just be with what is where we are right now.
Yeah.
And if we do that, then it's like whoosh, the energy comes in and it takes over and it's full on. Yeah. And you got to ride the wave because it's massive energy and it's beautiful. And it's like, you don't need to be afraid. And a lot of people are scared shitless right now, which makes sense. But it's like, we don't need to be afraid.
Totally.
We don't need to pay attention to those energies that are saying, oh, that's not going to serve us.
No.
It's sure we can be aware and have awareness around it, but our focus needs to be on positive outcomes. Like, our focus needs to be intentional and pointed towards the establishment and the creation and the grounding of the new earth.
Totally agree with you. I've got a question. We've got 10 minutes before at least 2 of us need to go. So I've got a question for both of you, and I'd love your perspectives on it. Where do you guys feel we're at right now? So what I mean by that is, we know that there's been a lot of humanity asleep. We've needed to awaken a lot of humanity to go on this mission. Where do you feel we are with that right now? Like, from each of your perspectives, how do you feel that we're doing with that?
Like, percentage wise, from 0 to 100% of awakened at being 100%. I want to hear from BT first.
Well, BT and I have had this conversation before, haven't we? We actually gave some percentages a while back. So I'd be interested to hear if you think that we've shifted any sum since then.
Well, I think we have shifted quite a bit, actually. The area of the shift, though, did kind of a backward 2-step. And this was the dilemma here in the United States, because everybody was expecting, okay? And things didn't occur. And so everybody had to step back, still expecting.
Yeah.
And then they had to step back again, still expecting, okay? And then we had a little bit of a daylight. so to speak, okay, where there was, the energy out in the public once again to communicate at CPAC and things of this nature. And everybody kind of came back into that energy again. But it definitely showed how easy the people are on the fence. There's those of us who are on the other side of the
easily to be influenced as well.
Yeah, we're on the other side of the fence, a quarter mile down the frickin' road, where these other people are still right in the fence, and any little bump that challenges them, they have no backbone, no spine, and they whimper down back behind the fence.
Totally.
And it's sad to watch these people because you care about them, but at the same time you're like, I've had enough of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Because these people should know better. Yeah. So, sometimes the tough love of the shaman is all you can do,
Yeah,
we learn
for sure.
Path, but that's where we're at, I think. I think it's getting the Mr. Mo back into position again so all of us can move forward.
Mr. Mojo.
Just a quick question on what you said. Do you still feel there's a lot of expectation on Trump? Because I witnessed it today in a group, bearing in mind we are this far down the line now, and all the way through I've been saying, release the expectation on this person, because wherever we're expecting, we're living in the old matrix. We need to be look, whatever is due to happen, it's going to happen for the best of humanity, and we need to be stepping into that vibration. But even today I was in a group and there was a couple of people saying, well, when Trump comes back it will all be sorted, and I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that for a long time, but I just, do you guys still hear about that? Or?
Oh yeah, we're in America.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interestingly enough, though, I want to share this piece because while I was doing what I was doing, I was dealing with the souls of some of the political figures, right? And I was observing and seeing who had been trapped and who was coming back, what was going on there. And I was just helping that all come back for their souls to return and whatever needed to happen there. And lo and behold, I observed Mr. Mojo. And what I saw, I did not expect to see. And it was absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. I saw, and I was like, is that false? Am I getting that clearly? Is that really happening? And it was like, yes, this is actually what you're seeing. And what I saw was this beam of light, just blasting down on Mr. Mojo, and just energy, just white light, just coming off of his body, from all angles, literally. And all the people holding vigil and prayer for him. I mean, it was absolutely, from a spiritual perspective, looking at Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, wow, I did not expect that. I did not expect to see that. Despite how I trust and I see and I can sense and see what's going on and what's happening, but to see it from a spiritual perspective, unprovoked, was another level.
Wow. That's beautiful.
And to see the level of control and good control that was happening, to see the prowess in play, if you will, that blew my mind. Wow. Literally blew my fucking mind. And I was like, we're good. We're good. Okay. Thank you for showing me that. Wow. Okay. I do trust that now.
Amazing.
And I'm not waiting around, because I'm going to be sitting at the table having lunch going, you're welcome, pal. You know what I mean? Because that's where I am.
Yeah.
Right? That's where you are. That's where we are. And so understanding that he is just one of many players, right? And at the same time, seeing the positioning and the level of energy and light flooding through that embodiment.
Yeah.
that blew my mind. And to blow my mind, that's pretty
Yeah.
hard to do.
That's pretty-
Just saying. And I think we can just, so I feel that on a percentage level, I just keep getting 15% that are awakened and ready to go. And then there's like another 40% that are, you know, that are coming into that awareness. So almost half, which is a large number for this planet. If you think about it, that's like 4.5 billion people. So that's a lot of people.
Yeah, that is a lot of people. And actually,
so we are almost at that tipping point of half.
Yeah,
and that's as far as I can tell.
So BT and I, when we spoke, I think we were talking about 36% people were kind of like.
Oh, okay. And how long ago was that?
3 months, maybe a bit longer.
Yeah,
so I totally.
So we're at like 45 to 47 right now is where
that's how I feel too. So yeah, that's
great, because we've never actually talked about that. So that's fascinating.
But that's why I wanted to ask the question, because I love, you know, I share what I feel, but it's so good to get validation and perspectives from other people. Anyway, I think that's a really good place to leave it for today. So thank you to everybody for watching. I think that we need to come back together and we need to do a session on pulling all of our gifts together and how we help people and how we go on their journey, you know, from a self-love perspective or from like whatever you guys do. And I think that could be a really powerful session. I think we should book another one and get that one done. It came through to me when we were talking, so I think that's what people need to hear.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you for having us, Lucy.
Time. Guys, to everyone watching, I'm just going to pop in the previous one that we did together above here now so that you can go back and watch that as well. And we will see you soon for number 3, Tripping on Trinity. See you later, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Lots of love. Bye.